Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing wonderful today. I am the Portfolio Panda. What is inflation and how it affects the economy? In this video, we will delve into the concept of inflation, its causes, measurement, and the significant impact it has on individuals, businesses, and governments. So, let's get started. Defining inflation. To understand inflation, let's begin with its definition. Inflation is an economic term used to describe the sustained increase in the general price level of goods and services in an economy over time. It means that, on average, prices are rising and the purchasing power of money is decreasing. Causes of inflation. Now that we know what inflation is, let's explore its causes. Inflation can arise from various factors, but three primary causes are commonly identified. First, we have demand pull inflation. This occurs when aggregate demand for goods and services exceeds the available supply. It often happens during periods of robust economic growth or increased consumer spending. Second, cost push inflation occurs when production costs, such as wages or raw materials, rise, causing businesses to pass those costs on to consumers. This can happen due to factors like increased energy prices or higher wages demanded by workers. Lastly, monetary inflation can lead to rising prices. It occurs when there is an excessive growth of the money supply relative to the production of goods and services. Factors like expansionary monetary policy or excessive government spending can contribute to monetary inflation. Effects of inflation. Inflation has far-reaching effects on the economy. Let's discuss some of the significant impacts it has on individuals, businesses, and the overall economy. Firstly, inflation erodes the purchasing power of money. As prices rise, each unit of currency buys fewer goods and services, reducing the standard of living for individuals and families. Secondly, inflation can create economic uncertainty. Higher unpredictable inflation makes it challenging for businesses to plan investments, set prices, and make long-term decisions. This uncertainty can hinder economic growth and distort market signals. Additionally, inflation can lead to a redistribution of income and wealth. Debtors benefit from inflation as they can repay loans with money that has less purchasing power. However, savers and fixed income owners may experience a decrease in the real value of their savings or income. Another effect of inflation is its impact on interest rates. Central banks often raise interest rates to combat inflation by reducing consumer spending and borrowing. Higher interest rates can affect business investments, housing affordability, and overall economic activity. Measurement of inflation. Now, let's shift our focus to how inflation is measured. Economists and policymakers use various tools to track and monitor inflation. The two most commonly used measures are the Consumer Price Index and the Producer Price Index. The CPI measures changes in the average price level of a basket of goods and services consumed by households. It provides insight into the inflation experienced by consumers and is widely used to calculate inflation rates. On the other hand, the PPI tracks changes in the average prices received by producers for their goods and services. It helps identify inflationary pressures at earlier stages of the supply chain, before the effects reach the consumer level. Additionally, there is a concept called core inflation. Core inflation excludes volatile items such as food and energy prices to focus on underlying inflation trends and provide a clearer picture of long-term inflationary pressures. Controlling inflation. Now that we understand the causes and effects of inflation, let's explore how policymakers aim to control and manage inflation. Central banks and governments play a crucial role in managing and controlling inflation. They employ various monetary and fiscal policy tools to keep inflation in check and maintain economic stability. Firstly, let's discuss monetary policy. Central banks have the authority to influence the money supply and interest rates. They can use tools such as open market operations, reserve requirements, and adjusting the benchmark interest rate to control inflationary pressures. By increasing interest rates, central banks aim to reduce borrowing and spending, thus curbing inflation. Conversely, they can lower interest rates to stimulate economic growth during periods of low inflation or recession. Fiscal policy is another important tool in managing inflation. Governments can use fiscal measures like taxation and public spending to influence the level of aggregate demand in the economy. During periods of high inflation, governments may implement contractionary fiscal policies by increasing taxes or reducing government spending to reduce overall demand and cool down the economy. On the other hand, during periods of low inflation or economic downturns, expansionary fiscal policies, such as tax cuts or increased government spending, can help stimulate demand and boost economic activity. Central banks often aim to maintain price stability as a primary policy objective. They set inflation targets and communicate them to the public. By doing so, they provide clarity and transparency about their monetary policy intentions, which helps businesses and individuals make informed decisions. In conclusion, inflation is a complex economic phenomenon that affects individuals, businesses, and governments in significant ways. It refers to the sustained increase in the general price level of goods and services over time, reducing the purchasing power of money. Inflation can have various causes, including excess demand, rising production costs, or monetary factors. It leads to several several effects, such as reduced purchasing power, economic uncertainty, and income redistribution. Economists and policymakers measure inflation using tools like the CPI and PPI, providing insights into price movements in the economy. Central banks and governments implement monetary and fiscal policies to control inflation and maintain price stability. Understanding inflation and its impact on the economy is crucial for individuals and businesses to make informed financial decisions. By staying informed about inflation trends and adapting strategies to mitigate its effects, we can navigate the economic landscape more effectively. As usual, let me know any questions in the comments below and make sure to share this with your least financially savvy friend and tell me if I did okay in explaining the topic. Your most valuable asset is your time. Thank you for sharing yours with me. Until next time.